update this plan? We think the answer to that's yes. But if you do, you need to go through the same methodology that you went through to adopt the plan to start with. You involve the stakeholders, you involve the citizens, you involve those people out there, you do the traffic studies, you look at all of the things that go into this. You don't go and annex in April of 2010, have it effective May 21, 2010, file your application for rezoning by the City of Chattanooga through RPA May 20 to get to where we are tonight. The methodology is not the same. The attempt to move it forward is to make it appear as if this property owner, Dr. Ballard's moving this. The city's moving this. The city's moving it really, quite frankly, for his behalf.
Never in Chattanooga have I ever seen anybody do a thoroughfare plan in conjunction with a land use plan. All land has to be served by an automobile, but there's one big element, and that's the street system. A thoroughfare plan goes hand in hand with a land use plan. And for people on this council to make a decision, you need to know those kinds of things, that there is a network of thoroughfare, at least planned, that will handle the traffic that's going to be generated by the land use. Also, a little bit later on, I found out after my report was written, I checked with the education department, and I find that there's a school bus stop in the 5000 block of Hunter Road at 7:25 a.m., which means we've got school kids on the side of the road in the dark. This 230 units will have a number of school children in that age, and there's no street lighting out in that area. That's just another situation, something being unsafe. The noise, we didn't get into any evaluation of an added noise to the community, but the prime point that I want to make is that the capacity to receive left turners out of this development is going to be at its max on opening day, and it will decrease as the volumes on Hunter Road increase. Thank you.
Sir, I understand your statistics, but I'm a bottleman. Is Hunter Road, well, when Hunter Road was first developed, current road we have now, was it developed for this size of traffic? Can you answer that?
I don't think Hunter Road was really developed. I think Hunter Road happened.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
No. So, on this road, you have, if someone had a wreck on this particular road, it's nowhere, is it on the sides of this road? Can you not pull to the side? Can't go around?
No, no, there is, the shoulders out there now are very narrow. And they have no refuge. In other words, you cannot dodge an automobile without going off the road and having a wreck. So it's a pretty, I don't know, it has never been designed. Like I say, it happened. And it does have a lot of curves and hills, and it is repeated narrow shoulders. And we do have numerous T-intersections going into single-family homes that are an impediment by making left turns into those existing developments. And that in itself reduces the capacity of Hunter Road.
And also, when there's a wreck, or on Friday, I go through that way going to Cleveland. I know definitely on Friday, I-75 is just jam-packed. They take other roads, like Summit Road going to Summit, it's be jam-packed. I know from Ooltewah going to 58, which I would go, it's also same way. So if that's the case, can you estimate how long would it take a person to go from one point to another point, or how safe it is?
Well, anytime that you are in a detour, probably in unfamiliar territory, so therefore you have to do, and everybody is trying to go that way, and everybody is trying to get home. So it is not an ideal situation as it was coming to this meeting tonight on the interstate backup. That I wound up going around Lookout Mountain in the rain on Broad Street. I'm familiar with, and what did I see? A wreck at 4th and Georgia.
So
detours are not that good, but they do serve a purpose.
And with the school, it's a school on the street, correct? 2 schools.
2 schools, I believe.
And that means it's 15 miles going in and out, correct? Mm-hmm. And you also have daycares on the street, correct? Mm-hmm. And what about deers? There's a lot of deers out that way. So, is that a safety hazard in your opinion?
Oh, yes, very definitely. And there's one thing, too, that's always in the back of my mind, and all of us have seen here lately, is I don't know if it can be appreciated as to how intense you should be in entering into a gaps like on Hunter Road, making a left turn. But when you add a cell phone, it's almost impossible to go out through there many times without having some problems. And I'm talking about not only the cell phones coming out, but the cell phones already by the residents out there that use Hunter Road. That is really not a cell phone area as far as driving is concerned, when you got to spend so much of your attention driving. And I think these are the new nuances that we're going to have about safety is the cell phones and those kinds of things. And don't put people in a tight spot when they're on a cell phone. So I figured, I deem this a hazardous location. The accidents would be angle, they'd be T-bones, and there will be accidents. I just don't know how. You can't really predict. And I hate to even talk about predictions on accidents because we know they're going to happen.
Mr. Benson. Okay, Charlie, you're a respected long time, good traffic engineer and a friend, and so is McCoy. So is Volker also involved in this too, and we're beginning to hear reports from Volker, which is contrary to some. I don't believe I understood you right. I believe you're a little bit like Mr. Anderson here. I heard you argue on the thoroughfare over at CBL. We wouldn't have ever gotten Hamilton Place built if we'd waited to do what you said needed to be done about thoroughfares.
Mr. Benson, CBL bellied up with somewhere between $2 to $4 million on off-site infrastructure.
They certainly did, but they didn't build Gun Barrel.
They contributed heavily to Gun Barrel because we got the dirt off of Gun Barrel to put it in one of the strip centers.
Well, I'm not arguing. CBL has been a great thing for us. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the preceding everything with a thoroughfare before you make any development. Surely you don't argue that.
The Gun Barrel entrance was tertiary. The first entrance was off of the freeway, and the second one was off of Shallowfoot Road.
You don't need to tell us about the traffic. I know everybody in here knows how bad the traffic is. I've got a son that teaches at Hunter, and I've driven that road many times, and they drive it daily. His wife and his son. Well, he lives a block or two from Hunter. But what I mean is I'm familiar with it. Traffic's terrible. Worst in the town, Bill.
Jack,
what I want to know is the chance of fatalities. Now, I know when you increase volume, you're going to increase fatality rate.
That's right.
But the chance of increasing it because of this entrance is what I'm talking about, not the volume. And can this entrance being designed in a way that will put us in jeopardy out there? That's the main reason I could vote against it. I can argue the other way on other factors.
I don't think there's